Okay, hello and welcome. We're going to wait a couple minutes and make sure, everybody who might be struggling a little bit is able to get on the call with us and do the seminar tonight. We're going to wait like about a minute, make sure anybody who's a little bit late is here before we get started. We have a lot of information to cover tonight, and we have a very exciting seminar to get started here. So let's just give it about another minute or so, and then we'll get started. Just double check, make sure you can see the screen, should be sharing the understanding Qigong slide right now. You should see that up there. If you don't see that, then it should come up soon. And if you can hear me, then we're doing good. Okay, so, okay. Give it about a couple more seconds here, 30 more seconds, and then we'll get started. Okay, let's get started. I'm excited. Tonight we have a very interesting subject, a very good seminar, a lot of information to cover. Our topic is understanding Qigong. And what we're going to be doing is we're going to be dispelling some of the myths about Qigong and those common myths that a lot of people have misconceptions of. And what we're going to cover is what is Qigong and how does it work? And we're also going to cover Qi because Qi is another big misconception. So let's get started. Okay. So let me introduce myself in case you don't know who I am, I'll just introduce myself briefly. My name is Franklin Fick, and I'm the founder and the head instructor at QigongExercise.net. Now, I've been training traditional Chinese martial arts, meditation, Qigong, and traditional healing for many, many years. And I've been teaching these disciplines for over 20 years. I also have a master's in acupuncture and traditional Chinese medicine. And what we're covering today is something very interesting to me is Qigong. I've always been interested in Qigong, and I've seen the power of Qigong both for myself, my students, and also with my patients in my clinical practice of acupuncture and traditional Chinese medicine. Now, what I noticed is that um, I got very good results, but it could be more. And some of the things that I saw was a lot of people didn't really understand what Qigong is, or there's a lot of misconceptions out there. Having studied for a little over 2 decades and teaching for over 2 decades, I've been around a little bit and I've seen some of the stuff that people are, talking about. And, I noticed there's a lot of misconception out there. So this is what we're going to cover in the seminar tonight. And just stick with us and we're going to cover a lot of information. So let's get started. Okay. So first is Qigong is not something new. It's been around for over 2,000 years. Okay. Actually, even further back than that, we have textual accounts in ancient China about different Qigong type practices, energy practices. And there's very ancient books with these drawings on certain exercises will have a curative effect on certain diseases or imbalances in the body. And that's because Qigong is traditionally a part of Chinese medicine. And it's been practiced for all these years because of the health benefits and longevity and just the general health benefits. Basically in Chinese, what they call yangshen, which is basically means nourishing life. It's a whole theory about keeping healthy and not only keeping healthy, but strengthening yourself over time. And as a part of Chinese medicine, there's a couple different parts of Chinese medicine. You have your acupuncture, you have your massage, your tuina, which is the manual therapies like massage, and you have herbal medicine, and and you have something like exercise also as part of Qigong. It's kind of like a twofold practice there as part of Chinese medicine. It's preventative. People practice it to keep themselves healthy and to prevent disease. And also, part of Chinese medicine is there's medical qigong where certain exercises are used to heal or not heal, but sort of rebalance the body. If a body has an imbalance, you can practice an exercise and it will it will balance out the body and take care of that imbalance and get the body back into balance. So what's interesting now is that Qigong is becoming more and more popular. Okay, today a lot of people have heard of it now. It's becoming more and more popular, and it's the focus of a lot of medical studies. There's a lot of medical studies coming out. If you search Google, you can see a lot of new studies like Qigong is good for this, Qigong is good for that, and it's in the news a lot. And you may even know somebody who's practicing it, or you may have read about somebody who's practicing it. It's becoming more or less like a household word. It's becoming very, very popular. So as it becomes more popular, it's important that we don't get bogged down in some of the stuff that is propagated out there about Qigong, okay? the big thing that I want you to come away with today from this seminar is that Qigong is not complicated. Qigong is not mysterious, okay? Qigong is an exercise. It's an exercise to help make your body stronger, okay? You don't have to travel to a distant mountain and seek out a very old person to go and study the mysteries of this kind of exercise, okay? Uh, we have Qigong in most major cities now. A lot of people practice. It's becoming more and more popular. But there's still some kind of thing out there where people are confused about what Qigong is, what is Qi. And a lot of the problem is there's some teachers that make it too complicated, they make it too mysterious, they make it too mystical. And they do this to kind of wow the students a little bit. And really it's a detriment to understanding what it is that you're doing and getting the real benefits of Qigong. So in this seminar, we're going to cover what Qigong is. We're not going to make it complicated. We're not going to make it mysterious. We're not going to make it mystical, but we're just going to cover what it is. So that's what we're going to do today. So stick with us. We have a lot of information here. Okay, so the first thing is, what is Qi? Now, Qi is energy. Okay, in the most basic sense, Qi is energy. Now, a lot of people will talk about Qi is this, Qi is that. Okay, basically, Qi is energy. You can simplify it that much. If you have a lot of energy, then you have abundant Qi. If you feel tired and run down, then you have low energy. It means you have low Qi, deficient Qi. It can be as simple as that. So there's two types of, when we talk about Qi, we divide Qi into many different aspects depending on what part you're talking about. But for health and general well-being of the body, there's two major divisions of Qi. There's prenatal Qi and there's postnatal Qi. And in Chinese, they also call it pre-heaven Qi and post-heaven Qi. And what this basically means is these are the two types of energy that we have in our body that make our physical makeup, that make us who we are. The first one is the prenatal Qi or the pre-heaven Qi. And this comes to us from before we're born. Okay, it's given to us. It's not something that we create in our life, but it's something given to us before we're born, and we have it. It comes from our parents and our ancestors, and it's basically our genetic makeup. It's our constitution. And the other aspect that we have is postnatal or post-heaven Qi. And this is what we do after we're born. This is the type of energy we get from food and drink and from breathing. These are the things that we use the food and the energy from digestion and breathing. It gives our body everything we need to repair, grow, and keep ourselves healthy. So the prenatal is what comes to us before we're born. It's basically our genetic makeup, our constitution. Okay, and we all know that our genetic makeup, our constitution, determines a little bit about our nature, a little bit about our health. Our genes basically determine the structure of our body and what's possible. And the postnatal Qi, what we get after we're born from the food and drink, that's what we can control. That's how we keep our body healthy after we're born, by getting good nutrition and proper breathing. Okay, so those are the two main divisions of the Qi. Now, for your health, we need three major things to keep ourselves healthy. The first is diet, lifestyle, and exercise. Diet, of course, go back a slide, is from the postnatal Qi. That's basically what we do after we're born to keep ourselves healthy. That's the diet. Okay, we get the postnatal Qi from the diet. Lifestyle, of course, our lifestyle affects our health, and exercise. So Qigong is exercise, basically falls underneath the category of exercise. And if you notice, Qigong is only one of the three aspects that we need to maintain our health. So in other words, you can practice as much Qigong as you want, but if your lifestyle is bad and your diet is bad, then of course your health is not going to be optimum. But if you combine these three together, diet, lifestyle, and health, then you have a better chance of maintaining and developing optimum health. So one of the things that people get into when they talk about Qigong is they'll start talking about Qi according to Chinese medicine. Now, in Chinese medicine, we classify lots of different types of Qi, because Chinese medicine is basically it's a medicine. We need to have a framework to work within the body to address imbalance and also classify imbalance. So to do that, Chinese medicine starts to talk about different types of Qi. Everything is a Qi. Basically, in Chinese medicine, we have food Qi, we have spleen Qi, we have the Qi of each organ, we have each function in the body is basically a Qi. And that's the way Chinese medicine defines the Qi in the body, is by the function, basically. So it's important to realize that even though we're talking in Chinese medicine terms, that Chinese medicine has all these different qis in the body, but not all of them are applicable for when we practice Qigong, because there is really only one energy. And these classifications in Chinese medicine are used to develop a framework to, to, um, to address imbalance in the body, to be able to classify it and work with it and to create balance. So that's why there's so many different types of qi in Chinese medicine. But a lot of times, Qigong teachers will talk about the qi of Chinese medicine and say that, okay, well, you need more spleen qi, or you need more kidney qi, or you need more this or that. Now, different Qigong exercises can work to enhance different aspects of the body, but in all, when you make it too complicated and you talk about the qi of this, the qi of that, talking more like if you've ever heard anybody talk about like Zeng qi and Zong qi and Gu qi and all these types of qi, there's a whole system in Chinese medicine of how we get the nutrients in the body. We get the energy from the food qi, and the spleen breaks it down. It sends one qi up, it sends one qi down, and then in the heart and lung area it gets transferred into blood, and then it's sent throughout the body with another type of qi. It's very, very complicated. And sometimes what happens is Qigong teachers will go into this, and they'll talk about this qi and that qi and this qi and that qi, but you don't really need to know that to practice Qigong. They're just making it overly complicated for some reason. You would have to ask them. And the reason Chinese medicine is so detailed in exploration and categorization of the body is because the goal of Chinese medicine is to cure disease. There has to be a framework from which you can classify the disease and work with it. So if a part of the body is not functioning properly, then the goal is to bring that part of the body back into the way it needs to function for the entire system to be in its optimal state. So this type of understanding of the body is also used in medical Qigong, which we'll talk about a little bit later. It's one type of Qigong, but medical Qigong is a part of Chinese medicine as well. But it's way more complicated, and it's something that needs to be done under supervision and can only be done for a certain amount of time until the imbalance is properly taken care of, and then you need to stop practicing that exercise, very specific exercise. And this is the type of understanding of qi when we talk about all these things. But sometimes some teachers make it too complicated. They want to talk about this just in general terms, and in general, that's not what we need to talk about in the body. In general, we want to talk about in the body the 6 functions of qi. In the body, the function of energy or qi can be divided into 6 different categories. And to briefly introduce them, they're transforming, transporting, holding, raising, protecting, and warming. Now, these are the 6 things that qi does in the body. Okay? So when people ask you, what is qi? Qi is what does these 6 things. Okay? So let's go over them. The first one is transforming. Energy or qi in the body is responsible for carrying out transformational processes. Okay? In Chinese medicine, some of these include the spleen transforms the food that we eat into the material that is utilized to nourish and repair the body. The kidneys transform the fluids. The bladder transforms urine. The heart transforms raw materials into blood. And this is all according to Chinese medicine. This is how they see the body and how it interacts, and the different organs have these different things. Some of them correspond to Western medical approach, and some of them do not. In the Western medical sense, transforming aspect of qi is basically metabolic process, or the act of transformation in the body. Any type of metabolic process in the body is basically transformation. And transformation takes place all over the body, and is one reason why qi or energy is important. So that's the first function of qi, is transforming. The second function is transporting. Qi or energy is responsible for transportation. In Chinese medicine, some of the different classifications of transportation include the transportation of vital substances, the transportation of fluids, and the transportation of energy. And different organs play their role, and the qi of the organ is what carries out the role in Chinese medicine. But basically, circulation is what we're talking about here, is governed by the qi. The next function of qi is holding. Energy or qi is responsible for holding. Okay, in Chinese medicine, we say the heart holds the blood in the blood vessels, the kidney and bladder hold the urine, and the lungs hold the sweat. With a larger perspective, we can understand that the body is made up of many membranes and tissues, some of them large, and all the way down, going down in size to the individual cell walls. So from large to very, very small, there's a lot of different membranes and tissues in the body. And all of these structures depend on energy or qi to maintain their integrity. That's as simple as that. As when we talk about holding, we're talking about the integrity of different structures in the body. Okay? The next function of qi is raising. Energy of qi is responsible for raising. This is important because one of the main natural forces that we encounter at every second of the day is the force of gravity. In Chinese medicine, the spleen is responsible for raising the organs, and the kidneys send energy upwards. Again, this is according to Chinese medicine. And what this does is we have the idea of being held up. Not everything is sinking down, but we also have an intrinsic force in the body that rises up through the tissue that maintains our balance, because we can't have down all the time. We have to have the balance of up and down to create what we need for movement and existence on the plane that we work at. Okay? So the next function of qi is protecting. Energy of qi is also responsible for protecting the body from external pathogens. This protective function is governed by the lungs in Chinese medicine. So you can think about a time when you were like tired and run down, basically just lacking energy. And you'll notice that around those times, you're also more susceptible to catching a cold or a flu. It's because the energy is low energy. Your energy cannot protect you from these external pathogens. So the theory is that with strong energy, we will protect our bodies from getting external pathogens and other environmental factors that can damage the health. And the next function of qi is warming. Energy of qi is responsible for warming the body. In fact, many processes in the body either depend on heat or produce heat, and this is all a function of the body's energy. So we went through these 6 functions of qi. All right, let's go back. And transforming, transporting, holding, raising, protecting, and warming. And you'll see that none of this is very esoteric. Okay? These processes or functions of qi are all concrete physiological things. They're all things that happen physically within the body. The metaphor for using these things in Chinese medicine might be a little different from the Western way that they look at it, but the same processes are happening, just different ways to describe them. And they're all based in the real world and how the body functions. Okay? Now, some of the explanations do not follow the Western's way to describe things, but they do describe physical aspects and the functions of the body. Practicing Qigong can strengthen the qi, and by doing so, it strengthens the functions of the body. So that's basically qi right there. So let's go back here and we'll just talk about qi again. So this is what qi does in the body. Now, a lot of times when people talk about Qigong or they talk about qi in general, they talk about the way qi feels. Now, the way qi feels is all subjective, and it depends a lot on what's going on in the body and what kind of blockages are happening in the body. Because a lot of times when you actually feel qi or energy in your body, it's actually not the energy or the qi that you feel, but it's the energy, it's the blockage that's opening up. It's the circulation that's starting to free up. It's the friction between the circulation of the qi in the blood and the blockage, where the blockage is starting to clear. And that's where we have the sensation of qi, is with that friction right there. If we had no blockages and no stagnation in the body, then there would also be no sensation of what most people call qi, because the qi sensation that most people talk about is basically the body opening up and the stagnation leaving the body and unclogging of, basically, if you think about it in terms of plumbing, right? If you have a clogged pipe, right, then the water has to really push that clog through, and then finally it breaks up, and then the pipe will be flowing freely. So while that blockage is being dissipated, that's what you're feeling. The sensation of qi is what's happening in the body right there, if you use that metaphor. Once the pipes are flowing freely, then there's nothing that causes the flow to stop. So there's no sensation of anything. There's no sensation at all. So that's what most people, when they talk about the feeling of qi, qi feels like this, qi feels like that. That's why we don't really focus on the feeling of qi too much while we practice, or if we're doing Qigong, is because this kind of sensation is going to change over time as the body changes. As the stagnation clears, our sensations of what's happening in the body also change. So it's important to know that the difference between feeling qi and the functions of qi in the body. So the functions of qi is what basically qi is. It's these functions in the body. When you feel, it's usually the stagnation, the blockage being cleared, and then later on, it's replaced with feelings of like warmth and calm and basically tranquility, because there's no more stagnation. So that's basically qi. So now let's move on to Qigong. So what is Qigong? Well, Qigong is written in the Chinese characters you see on the screen right there. The first character, Qi, means energy, but it can also mean breath. And Gong means work or exercises. So literally, Qigong means exercises for your energy. And it's as simple as that. It doesn't have to be more complicated than that at all. Now, it's important to understand that Qigong is a modern term, okay? It only starts showing up relatively recently in the timeline of practice, which I remember we said is like over 2,000 years. The older names for the exercises that we know of Qigong today are Neigong, which means internal work, and Daoyin, which means leading and guiding. So these are some old names, and nowadays we mostly refer to everything just as Qigong, although sometimes you do encounter Neigong and Daoyin in the naming process of the exercises. Okay, and basically just know that they're all basically similar and that they all deal with the same thing. We'll get into what this is a little bit later. But it's important to know that there's many, many different styles of Qigong. There's not one style of Qigong, okay? When we say something is Qigong, it's not like we label it like this is that. Qigong is basically like a category. It's energy exercises, okay? And there's many, many, many different styles of Qigong, and there's many different practices of Qigong. Some of them are similar, some of them can be very dissimilar. Very, very different. I like to use the metaphor, it's like saying transportation. Qigong is like transportation. Transportation means that you're going to go from one place to another place. But how are you going to do it? There's many different ways you can go from one place to another place. You can go by bicycle, you can walk, you can take a motorcycle, you can take a car, you can take a scooter, you can swim, you can take a boat, you can take an airplane, you can take a spaceship. All that is transportation. Falls underneath the category of transportation. And Qigong is a similar thing. There's many, many different styles of Qigong. There's static Qigong, where you do standing meditation. There's moving Qigong. There's seated Qigong. There's lying Qigong. There's walking Qigong. Many, many different styles and many, many different aspects of Qigong training. And they all fall underneath the umbrella of basically what we call Qigong. But just note there's many, many different styles. That's very important because a lot of people get caught up on what's the best style of Qigong. There's no real best style of Qigong. There's just the style of Qigong that you're practicing and that you're getting benefit from. There's not one that trumps all the other ones. And it's important to realize that because there's many, many different styles. A lot of people don't realize that. And these styles of Qigong basically fall within three main categories. I like to categorize them in these three main categories. The first is medical Qigong. Now this is what we talked about as being part of Chinese medicine, where there's an imbalance in the body, and what happens is you will practice a certain exercise that addresses that specific imbalance in the body until that imbalance is gone, and then you stop practicing that exercise. So these are exercises that are only used to address imbalance in the body, and they're very specific for each imbalance. In other words, there's not one exercise that you give to everybody, but there's hundreds and hundreds of exercises, and each exercise is specific to a certain type of imbalance in the body. So this type of Qigong is beyond the scope of most people. This is something that I did in my practice of traditional Chinese medicine, was I would give patients exercises to practice, okay? And that falls underneath the medical Qigong aspect, but that takes a lot of training to do that, a lot of understanding about how the body works, a lot of understanding about how Qigong itself works and the exercises work to be able to use the exercises in this manner. So this is beyond the scope for most people, okay? Now, the next category of Qigong that I like to put things into is goal-oriented Qigong. Now, these are similar to medical Qigong in that the medical Qigong addresses a specific imbalance, and then once that imbalance is gone, then you stop using it. Where goal-oriented Qigong is basically an exercise that has a specific goal, okay? In martial arts, there's many different types of Qigong that are goal specific. Like there's exercises for iron palm to make your hands very, very strong so that you can break bricks and basically cause a lot of damage with your hands without damaging your own hands. Or there's another practice in martial arts called iron body, where there's Qigong exercises that make your body able to absorb hits from your opponent and keep your internal organs and your bones and your structure, your tissue safe from harm while being struck with force from the opponent. Or another goal-oriented Qigong would be there's a lot of spiritual disciplines where they have specific exercises to move the energy in the body in a very specific manner to achieve a very specific goal dictated by their spiritual discipline. Now, the thing with goal-oriented Qigong is that the energy is focused to make a certain goal. In other words, there's a goal. You're practicing a certain exercise to achieve a certain goal, and it's usually very specific. And what happens is these type of practices need to be basically monitored by a teacher, because if you do them wrong, you can deviate and cause some problems in the body if you don't take other things into account. And like medical Qigong, they have to be balanced out sometimes by other practices or lifestyle choices or sometimes even diet, so that you don't cause harm to the body. Okay. So these goal-oriented Qigong, the second category, is something that needs to be undertaken under the guidance of a teacher who can direct you and guide you and make sure you're not going to get into any trouble and make sure everything stays balanced in your body. Now, the third main type of Qigong that I'd like to talk about is general health Qigong. And this is what basically is good for everybody, almost. And these are general health practices that work the entire body in a way that the whole body is balanced, okay? So in other words, while working the entire body, it creates balance within the body. In other words, you're balancing out everything. It's not structured to one goal. But the goal for the general health Qigong is to basically work out the whole body and just create a healthier body while keeping the body in balance. And then over time, as you practice these type of practices, you can't really overdo them unless you do them like 10 hours a day or something like that. But basically, they're safe to practice because they're balanced exercises. And their goal is just to create more balance within the body and more general health and increase the vitality and the general health of the body. So that's the general health Qigong, and that's what we talk about mostly here, and mostly what I teach to most people. Okay? And let's talk about Qigong theory. Now we said Qigong, there's many types of Qigong, and we talked about those three, but now we're going to talk about the general theory. And this type of theory relates to all the three categories that we talked about before, but it's also very important for the general health Qigong. And the thing about Qigong theory is that you can make it very, very complex. But the idea is you don't want to make it too complex, because Qigong practice it's an exercise. It's rooted in the body. It's rooted in what you're doing physically. And that's the most important. That's the foundation of the practice. The Qigong theory builds from the foundation of the physical movements to direct you to further enhance your skill as you progress. The theory can be more and more complex, but it's all based and rooted in the physical aspect of the body and the movements. Okay? Now, there's three main things that we do basically with all types of Qigong, and that is we have to harmonize the body, the breath, and the mind. So it doesn't matter what type of Qigong we're doing, medical, goal-oriented, or general health Qigong. Basically, all these practices work with the mind, the breath, and the body because of the aspects that we have to work with as a physical being. Okay? So the important thing is that we talk about the three regulations. There's the to regulate the posture, regulate the breath, and regulate the mind. So let's go over these three regulations. So the first one is the posture of the body. As you practice Qigong, you must be aware of your body. The exercises work to stimulate circulation of Qi and blood in the body. To do this in the most effective manner, you must be aware of your posture and the movements and make sure that they are correct. Incorrect posture can have an adverse effect on the body and the health. The correct posture allows for the full use and training of the body and for optimal circulation of Qi and blood. Basically, it just means that as we practice Qigong, our body has to be in the correct posture. We have to regulate our body alignment and the movement of our body so that the movements are correct, so that we are training the body correctly and we're getting the full use of every joint. Basically, all the movements are balanced and coordinated and just open, and everything is working properly with the body. That's what we need to be mindful of. And the next one is to regulate the breath. Okay, as a Qigong practitioner, you have to be mindful of your breathing. Some Qigong exercises call for the synchronization of the physical movements with the breathing, and some of them don't. But it's important to remember that the breath should never be forced or strained. Relaxed and natural breathing is one of the most fundamental ways to cultivate Qi, and it can be used to stimulate and strengthen the body. While proper breathing promotes relaxation and vibrant energy, improper breathing can create tension and stagnation. So it is important for the Qigong practitioner to be mindful of the breathing. Basically, the breathing needs to be natural and relaxed. Now, some styles say that you have to synchronize the breathing and coordinate the breathing with the movements, and some styles just breathe naturally as you do the movements. And what will happen over time is that the breath and the movement will naturally coordinate over time if you do it that way. But basically, you have to be mindful of your breath, but you can't force it because forcing and creating tension and stagnation in the breath is not good for you at all. And the third regulation is the regulation of the mind. Because Qigong is an exercise for the body, mind, and energy, it's important to be mindful of your practice. Okay? Now, some exercises have additional mental concentration points beyond just general mindfulness. In other words, you might think about something or visualize something as you do a movement to help with the execution of the movement and to help with the directing of the mind and the energy flow and the breath during the movement as well. But being mindful of what you're doing is basically essential for everything that you do, and more essential for Qigong, because if you're going to coordinate your mind, body, and your breath together, you have to use your mind to be mindful of that coordination and make sure everything is working properly. Okay? And as you practice, you definitely don't want to tune out or daydream or watch TV or go someplace else. Okay, that's the main difference between Eastern exercise like Qigong, internal martial arts, and Kung Fu. And if you go to the gym nowadays, you see a lot of people running on a treadmill and they'll be reading a book or they'll be watching TV. They're disconnected from the exercise itself. Where exercises like Qigong, you need to connect with the exercise. You need to be mindful as you're doing the exercise to get the most benefit out of it. Okay? And there's two more important principles for Qigong practice as well. The first one is natural and relaxed. You want everything to be natural and relaxed. You don't want to force anything or strain in any way. The body is never forced into a position that causes damage or strains the tendons, joints, or muscles. The breath is never strained. And also the mind, although the mind is concentrated during practice, it is not overly so. In other words, you don't overly strain the mind and the concentration, make it too tense. Okay? Nothing is ever forced. This allows for the correct and continued development over time. This is very important let me just say that again. Everything is natural and relaxed, nothing is forced, and this allows for the correct and continued development over time. And that's very, very essential. If you try to force things to happen, basically you create stagnation in the body, and that's counterproductive to what we're trying to achieve with Qigong practice. The next important principle for Qigong, and probably the most important, is consistent practice. Consistent practice is the key to obtaining results from Qigong. Qigong practice can be gentle, okay, which is the complete opposite of what most people classify as exercise in the Western world. There's the no pain, no gain sort of attitude where people say if it's not hurting, you're not pushing yourself, then you're not getting any benefit. Where Qigong is the opposite. The benefits come with consistent practice over time. We're going to get into how that works a little bit later with the health benefits. But basically, over time, the body becomes stronger and stronger without damaging it. Okay? The practice can change the body and energy in subtle ways, making it healthier and stronger gradually. Consistent practice can help alleviate stress and tension, keep the joints strong and healthy, and build up the constitution. Remember, we were talking about the prenatal qi, the constitution, the genetic makeup. Like we can strengthen ourselves over time. Okay. So now let's talk about the health benefits and how these actually work. There's a lot of talk about Qigong this, and a lot of people make it very esoteric, the health benefits of Qigong, but let's go over some of the common ones and how they actually work to achieve better health in the body. The first is that Qigong promotes the circulation of qi and blood. Okay? The movements of the exercises break up stagnation and promote circulation. Now this is important because to repair and build the body, regenerate different parts of the body, we need a flow of blood and qi to the body to provide the nutrients and the building blocks that the body needs to do these repairs and to regenerate itself. Okay, so by practicing Qigong, we break up the stagnation, we promote the circulation, the body can get these nutrients that it needs to repair and regenerate itself, and long-term practice will improve all aspects of the body. Okay? Qigong can relieve stress and tension. And how does it do this? The movements extend, stretch, and twist every part of the body. The physical actions alleviate any tension in the muscles, the tendons, and the joints, and it stops this tension from growing and becoming bigger. A lot of times people hold tension in the body until it becomes some kind of pain. So by practicing Qigong, we can alleviate the stress and tension that we hold in our body before it becomes something that we actually notice. The other thing we need to realize is that the mental and emotional aspects of ourselves are linked with the physical. They're not disconnected. A lot of the times we hold tension in our body because of mental states or emotional states. And breaking up the physical tension can help to alleviate the mental or emotional states as well. It works both ways. Also, as we practice Qigong, we're calm, and this calmness and relaxation also helps to, to get rid of the physical tension in the body as well. Most people report that practice makes them feel calm and energized. Another aspect of Qigong practice that develops good health is the deep breathing. Deep breathing helps to calm the mind and helps create a state of relaxation, which is very important because it helps get rid of the physical tension, which we just talked about. Deep breathing can also mean a better exchange of oxygen and carbon dioxide. I made a typo there. Okay. Basically, deeper breathing means the lungs are able to exchange the gas completely. The body gets the oxygen that it needs, and it's able to get rid of the carbon dioxide, the waste material out of the body. Better process there. And in addition, the physical action of deep breathing stimulates and massages the internal organs, which is also good for the organs themselves, and also stimulates the circulation to the organs as well, because the organs themselves start to move and get massaged. So that's how deep breathing can help to increase the health. Qigong practice can also promote strong and flexible joints. The exercises stimulate the joints, it keeps them flexible, increases the circulation to the joints, and also works to help lubricate the joints. And all this is done in a low impact way, and there's no stress to the joints at all. So it's very good. A lot of people can practice in any state of health and get benefit. The next aspect of Qigong that's good for the health is digestion and elimination. The movements and the exercises and deep breathing have a positive effect on the digestion system. And this is important because diet is one of the aspects for maintaining the health. And if we have better digestion, that means there's more nutrients available for the body to use. And we have better elimination, that means we're getting rid of more waste material. There's not going to be a buildup of the waste material, but we're able to process the food and we're able to eliminate the waste efficiently. And this is good for building the health over time. Qigong also helps promote better sleep. Better circulation, relaxation, and a state of calm help to promote better sleep. And sleep is better. Sleep is very important because it plays a vital role in repairing and maintaining the body. During sleep is when a lot of the body will start to repair itself and get ready for the next day. It's the downtime that the body needs to do all this stuff. And sleep is also very important for the regulation of hormones within the body as well. Central nervous system. The central nervous system is important because basically nerves connect each and every part of the body. Okay? Mindful movement helps to stimulate these connections, and other movements help to work to twist and bend the spine itself. This keeps the spine strong, flexible, and mobile, as well as increasing the circulation in the local area of the spine, helping to get the nutrients that the body needs to repair and keep these parts healthy. So that's very, very important. But the most important thing is the mindful movement of the body during Qigong practice helps to strengthen and integrate the connection of the nerves in the body. And we notices that's basically how Qigong helps to create health benefits over time, how it increases the health and the vitality over time. And what you'll notice is that these are all concrete physical ways in which Qigong exercise helps to maintain and promote health and longevity. There's nothing esoteric or energetic about what we just talked about. But the esoteric and energetic also exists. Now we're just talking on a basic physical level. This is how the exercise works to strengthen the body. And remember I said before that basically the Qigong theory is it's rooted in the physical exercises. And this is what we're talking about right now. This is the base, the foundation for your practice. And even at the foundation level, this is the stuff that's going to create a big impact over time for yourself. The ability for the body to repair and maintain itself is essential and is the basis for developing vibrant health and longevity, and also the ability to recover more quickly if a health concern does arise. So this is basically the benefit of Qigong right there, is it helps to strengthen everything. And over time, you can see very, very good results. I've seen good results for myself, students, and also patients in my acupuncture practice as well. And basically, what I found was that, a lot of people would benefit from doing some type of Qigong exercise. even some people that came, for some health concerns. Basically, if sometimes, just simple exercise would have helped solve the problem before anything, well, would have made them seek treatment. So basically, a foundation of exercise and keeping healthy, this kind of thing that qigong can provide is very, very important. Can't stress that enough. So the next thing to do is to find a qigong teacher. Now nowadays there's qigong teachers like all over the place. But a lot of the problem is some of them make the qigong too complicated or mystical. But what you just learned today, okay, in this seminar, you'll be able to cut out like maybe 75% of the people that will just waste your time. Because now you know about qigong, you know about qi, you know about qigong, you know about how the health benefits of qigong work. So if you find a qigong teacher who's talking, basically nonsense, you know to stay away from them. Okay, this the whole point of doing the seminar right now is to give you this information that you need so that you can get the most out of your qigong practice. And if you find a teacher who makes it too complicated, mystical, or just basically, giving you all sorts of talking, this kind of thing that doesn't make any sense, it's not going to help your practice because they obviously don't have a firm grasp of what they're teaching. If they were able to grasp and really understand what it was they were teaching, they could make it very simple. They could state it very simply what it is you're doing, why you're doing it, and what's the purpose. Okay, and we covered some of that in the seminar here. So this just gives you the foundation for being able to find a good teacher, because now you know some of the foundation of what qigong is about, and you're able to better judge what's a good practice and what's a bad practice. And the next thing is, what's a qigong style? Okay, what's the best one? Now, there's a lot of misconceptions out there. There's a lot of different styles out there. Even within the general health thing, there's a lot of different styles. And, everybody will say that their style is the best, the one that they teach. And of course, that's just basically for marketing, because if they said somebody else's was better, then you go and learn from somebody else and they wouldn't get your tuition. And, they're teaching for a living, so they need to make money. So their qigong style is the best. And a lot of times it's really hyped up. And that's where we get a lot of the talking about the mystical stuff, because it kind of awes the student and gets them, kind of invested in the practice a little bit more than they should be. And what happens is with the mystical talk, then there's a lot of letdown when they find out that, these things not exactly what they were being advertised as. So what's the best qigong style? There's so many styles to choose from. You really need to pick one that's interesting for you, and also one that can fit into your schedule. And that's the important thing I want to talk about now is that, remember we said qigong practice should be consistent, okay? So in my years of teaching qigong, I noticed that a lot of students only would come to a class, and they come to a class, and then they don't practice the rest of the week, and then they come to the class, and basically just practicing qigong once a week is not going to give you a lot of benefits. You need to really make the practice a part of your life. And one of the problems with this is that people have the idea that if you practice qigong, it needs to be for an hour. Now, I don't know where people got this idea. I think it has something to do with the way that qigong is taught in a class setting. A lot of the times, qigong and other exercise programs are taught like in a health club or a gym or something like this, and the class times are 1 hour. So the class time has to be 1 hour. So everybody thinks, well, if you practice qigong, it has to be 1 hour, and this just is not the case. There's some styles of qigong that can be done in 10 minutes, and if you practice 10 minutes every day, you can get very, very good results. There's other styles that take a lot longer. I know one of my teachers had a style of practice that takes about 2 hours or more to go through the complete set, and you have to do that every day. So what happens a lot is when people teach qigong in a class setting is they have a lot of extra practices. They'll have a warm-up, they'll have a talk, then they'll have one type of practice, then they'll have another type of practice of qigong. So they're combining a lot of stuff to use up that hour class time, that hour slot. So you have to realize that when you practice qigong for yourself, when you practice qigong and make it part of your schedule, part of your lifestyle, to get the benefits that you want out of qigong, you don't need to be trapped in the thinking that qigong has to be an hour every day, because that's how long an exercise class is. Okay. There's lots of different styles of qigong. You need to fit one that can fit into your schedule. Okay. The qigong takes different time to go through different sets. Different styles take different times depending on what the set is. So one of the main problems of this is that You have to pick a style that's interesting for you. You have to find one that fits into your schedule. But how do you do that when everybody's teaching, for 1 hour here and there, this kind of exercise routine, and you want to do something, you want to have a Qigong practice for yourself, and you want to find that. So you have to do some kind of research. But researching is kind of hard because then there's a lot of information out there. Some of it's good, some of it not so good. Some of it is just very misleading. Some of it is purposely misleading. Some of it is just unintentionally misleading. But it can be very confusing. So to pick a style that's right for you, you need to choose, you need to do some research about what the different styles are about. And to do that, it can be very difficult. I mean, it depends what's there, and you also need to pick one that can fit your schedule. So what I want to do is I want to offer you something right now that I think can help you to basically get exactly what you need to practice Qigong, to make it part of your daily routine, and to really get that. And basically what I want to offer you is a lifetime membership to QigongExercise.net, basically our members area. So let me switch the screen here, and I'll go over to the members area, and I want to show you what this is. Okay. So here we are in our members area here. Now our members area, we've been online since 2010. We've had students from all around the world. We've basically just recently broken it down into the different areas of practice. Before we were doing everything all together, martial arts, meditation, Qigong, all mixed together in one site. We have it all in one site, but now we have different websites on each aspect, like one for Qigong, one for Taoist meditation, one for martial arts. So since about 2010, we've had lots of students come through from all over the world. A lot of good positive feedback. But let me log in here and show you what the members area is about here. So basically in the members area, you get lifetime access, and go to the Qigong files here. Basically, right now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different styles of Qigong with training there. 8 different styles of Qigong, okay? And we're going to be adding more soon as well. So 8 complete systems of Qigong that you could practice. And as you go in here, you see the videos right here in the members area. We've got each of the exercises, variations, and what we cover is a whole bunch of different styles. We have the 8-section brocade standing Qigong. We have Taoist Qigong. 8-section brocade Qigong takes about 10-15 minutes to practice. Taoist Qigong combines movement and stillness, standing meditation, and movement exercises, and takes between half an hour and an hour to practice. We have 2 different sets of Shaolin Qigong that you can integrate in your day. A Neigong set, which takes between a half an hour to an hour and a half, depending on how long you stand in meditation. We have 2 sets of the 5 animal frolics available now, the crane frolics and the bear frolics. Each one takes about 10 to 15 minutes to practice, and these 2 can be practiced together for about a 20 to a half hour practice time. And we have the swimming dragon Qigong, which is a pretty simple exercise with a lot of benefits, which can be practiced in just a couple minutes a day. Now, the important thing here is not that we have all different types of Qigong to practice here. It's the fact that you can choose which Qigong set is right for you. Now, you're not going to want to practice each set of Qigong every day, okay? What you're going to want to do is you're going to want to watch these videos, and you're going to want to pick a practice that's right for you. It's a standing meditation. Is it moving? How long does each one take? This kind of thing. And that way, you can get an exercise that fits into your schedule, an exercise that you're interested in, and basically it's going to be a perfect match for you. So that's basically how this works. In addition to the video lessons here, we also have the membership also comes with a student forum, so you can interact, you can ask questions, you can share with the fellow students and get feedback on everything. And that's our student forum. And we also have video coaching is available for a small extra fee, where you can submit video and get personalized feedback. And we also have a private Facebook group for our students only, where you can join. You get lifetime access to that as well. And basically, you become part of our international community here, and basically with the goal of practicing Qigong. But that's not all. Right now, I want to offer you something even more special than that. Is along with your Qigong practice, if you decide to join the school today, we're also going to throw in the lifetime membership to our Taoist meditation course. which is basically meditation practice, practical meditation practice, which covers how to practice, how to practice, when to practice, and complete video lessons on movement exercises and seated meditation exercise that can be combined together. We have a couple more practices which we're going to add later on to make a more complete and rounded out practice. But basically, you get Taoist meditation practice and Qigong lifetime access right now. Now, what would be your alternative, and why do I think this is such a great thing that I'm going to offer you today? It's because I know how hard it is to seek out a teacher. Okay, if you're looking for a teacher online, or not online, but in your location, you have to see what classes are available in your general area. You have to go and see the teacher and what they're teaching, and if you like the class environment, if you like the teacher, right? And you have to see if the class time is going to fit your schedule. Okay, you have to think about commuting to the class and coming back, and then remembering what happened in the class. Okay, and then you have the fee for classes. Like local classes can be anywhere from $60 to maybe even $100 or more a month. Okay, so it can get pretty expensive pretty fast. And when you go to the class, usually you have just a group class. You don't get that much attention, not that much correction. You just have to sort of follow along and kind of figure it out as you go along. What we found with the online classes is that the video lessons allow the students to take the classes anytime they want to. They don't need to commute. Just anytime you have anytime you want to take a class, if you have an internet connection, you come over here and you start from exactly where you left off. Whatever exercise you're on, you just start from that. And you can also go back and you can review the material as much as you want. You can get the feedback from the student forum and ask questions that you want there. You can get additional video coaching if you want to, right? You can get the additional video coaching if you want to make sure you have everything correct. You also have the Facebook group, and you have lifetime access. So basically, this is something special that we don't really do too often, is give the lifetime access at such a reduced price. So if you click the button below right now, you'll be able to go to the order page, and you'll be able to see what that special price is. It's very discounted, and it's not going to be available for too long. So I would encourage you, if you're interested in experiencing the health benefits of Qigong for yourself, that you really go and take advantage of this right now, because like I said, it's not going to be around forever. And this special price is, limited time offer. It's not going to be available next week if you come back. So you really need to jump on this soon if you're going to do it. So if you would like to experience the Qigong and how to practice, and you'd like to have a variety of styles to choose from, and be able to find one that fits your lifestyle, some kind of practice that you're interested in, and you're interested in making this a part of your life, then this is what I want to offer you today, to be able to do that. So just click the button below, and you can get started right now. Basically, as soon as you click the button, you go through, and then you have access almost immediately. So if you did have any questions at all, you can just go in the box below. You can type a question in there. I'll be able to email you back any answers that you might email you any answers to any questions that you might have. So okay, that's basically it. Just remember, this is a time-limited offer. And now you know about Qi, you know about Qigong, you know about the health benefits of Qigong, and now with this special offer, you have an ability to make Qigong part of your life, and really get started today if you wanted to. Okay, so any questions, again, you ask them in the comment box below, and I'll be able to email you back an answer. And I hope to see you on the inside, because I know how powerful Qigong and meditation practice can be. Like I said, I've seen it for myself, I've seen it for my students and my patients in acupuncture, and I've been teaching for 20 years, and I know how powerful these practices can be. But the general thing that I've seen over the time that I've been teaching is a lot of people are interested. A lot of people are interested. They're interested. They'll show up for a class, they'll show up for a week, they'll show up for a month, and then they'll quit. Okay? And I don't want to see this happen to you. This is why I'm giving you this limited time offer where you can jump in and get a lifetime membership, and you can come and train at any time that you want to. So if you're interested now, and get in on this offer, and then you try it out, and you might take a little break, and then you can always come back to it. You can always, come back because it's a lifetime membership. But I would encourage you that if you are interested, that you just take advantage of this and you make a schedule, you decide to start, because what we talked about earlier, it's consistent practice is the key. So why wait for tomorrow? Why wait for next week when you can get started today and really start to experience the benefits of Qigong for yourself? Okay? So just click the button below, and I'll see you on the members area.